Wait, what? Is that Hatsune Miku? Oh my god, we're getting a Hatsune Miku collab in NIKKE, the Goddess of Victory. NIKKE, the Goddess of Victory, has a brand new tier list with at least 12 new units ready for launch day. And in case you didn't know, the game will launch on November 4th, 2022. Hey, what's up, guys? I'm your host, Cap, and today we're going to be deep diving on the brand new tier list that has been launched by Prydwen.gg. In case you didn't know, this tier list is based on launch day of the units that we are getting, which is 12 new units. And we have their in-game damage numbers. So, let's get straight into it. So, in case you're wondering how they were doing the DPS test, it's basically solo DPS on their own. No buffs, no debuffs, nothing else. Now, in case you're wondering why they use Emma test, it's because Emma is pretty much the standard DPS unit. Despite Emma's being a healer, she is actually a minigun that does decent damage. Now, in case you're wondering what's my thoughts about this tier list, the only thing I'm more worried about is Yunhua. In case you didn't know, this tier list is based on autoplay, and Yunhua is actually the worst DPS unit for autoplay. Now, if you play her on manual, she actually does good DPS. Her entire kit is based on manual play. Now, if you're wondering how Yunhua works, you basically have to charge 2 shots for DPS, and then you ammo dump her entire clip into the enemy by tap firing. In case you didn't know, she does have a defense shred, and you can see at the very top, you can see that the defense shred icon that pops up. Therefore, the enemy's been debuffed by 29% on their defense. Now, in case you didn't notice, Yunhua is actually a burst 2 unit. Overall, she's actually a support unit. She's not meant to be main DPS. Now let's look at another defense shred unit. Usually, Signal is pretty much a highly praised unit for defense shred, and she's also a burst 2 unit. Where compared to Yunhua, you have to land your last shot. If you miss your last shot in sniper, you do not get the defense shred. Where compared to Signal, you only need to hit the enemy 60 times. Overall, her defense shred is actually less than Yunhua, but it does stack. So in theory, you can stack the 60 normal attacks if you hit 120 times. But the reason why Yunhua was not used during the raid boss stuff because Yunhua was actually bugged in the CBT and in the technical testing. Now, overall about this tier list, I'm super happy about Haran because I've tried to main Haran in the CBT. I could not get her to pull her weight. Now, overall, in case you're wondering how much DPS that Haran did, I have a showcase for you right here. In theory, Haran might actually be stronger than Scarlet. Only reason Scarlet does so much damage, it's because she has the built-in crit rate. Haran does not have crit rate built in. She only has damage buffs and a damage over time dot. I'm super happy about this, but the biggest problem about these two units are pilgrim units. That means it's going to be really hard to roll for these units. Now, in case you didn't know, the overall SSR rate is 4%, which is pretty good for this game. Now, technically, it's roughly average around 10 units per 200 rolls. Everything should be based around 200 because that's where you get the uncapped token. And overall, to max a unit, you need to roll 2,000 times, worst case scenario. So for you to have Scarlet as a main DPS, you need to roll Scarlet at least 2,000 times to get the uncapped tokens. Maybe a little bit less if you get more dupes on her. Now, in case you didn't know, this game is a heavy dupe game. Now, overall, they did buff all the SSR units in this game. So all the SSR units has some viability. Now, this is all about based on teamwork, where you had to build a team around each section. You know, there's elementals advantage, and then there's a range advantage. So overall, in case you didn't know, there's a lot of stuff, and there's a lot of in-depth builds you have to do. There's going to be multiple tier lists for this game. For each boss, for each run, and for each PvE event. In case you didn't know, this is only the first batch of units. There's also 10 more units coming out. We don't know what date they're coming out, but we have data mine of those projects. If you're free to play, you should not be worried about maxing your units because this is the fastest gacha game you will ever play. This is a shift up game. They are the fastest company when it comes to releasing multiple units and power creeping itself. And this is a game that goes variety. There is literally a waifu for every living person in this world they will be releasing to. They even have boat girls. Literally, they have St. Louis and Honolulu from Missouri Lane as the boat girls. And one of my anticipated waifus I'm looking forward to is this redhead chick. She literally looks like a powerhouse that's going to power creep the instant meta. Most likely, she looks like a pilgrim unit because nobody in the factory and factions do not look like this. Also, the fact that she's already fully rigged and we have jiggle physics already for her Most likely, she's going to be the next powerhouse unit that's coming out soon after the launch day patches. So overall, don't worry about the tier list if you're free to play. Just play this game as fun as possible. This game is meant to be fun. There is nothing about this where you have to try hard, right? All games are made to be fun. You can be competitive. If you're going to wail for this game, this is a very, very expensive game, especially how fast they release units. So by the time launch day happens, 3 months from now, there's probably going to be 30 new units going to be released. So overall, and this is a shift up game, they have proven this with their old game called Destiny Child, and they're still releasing new units for that game. Also, you have to realize the new units that we're getting on launch day, most of their kit does not work properly until more units actually comes in and help fix those units to be put together. In case you forgot, this game has elementals in this game, so there's a lot of rock, paper, scissors happening in this game. Most likely, they're going to power creep it, pretty usual, average. 1 to 3%. Usually that's the power creep when you have the rock, paper, scissors element happening, which is very common. I don't mind that. It's pretty normal. I can't wait to see what this game is like 6 months from launch day. It's going to be insane. There's so many new units, and there's even more units that we don't even know what they're going to be like. Overall, in case you didn't know, there is going to be PvP in this game, but that's another video for another time. What I'm really excited about is the skins that might be coming out. Might be. I don't know. They're going to do they're really going to be pushing the line for when it comes to skins. And for y'all Emma fans out there, congratulations. She has a skin and is very, very, very appealing and very jolly. So back to the tier list. So I can safely say this tier list is very obsolete. Remember, this is a solo DPS based tier list. Units like Vesty right here, she is an AoE user and it does a lot of AoE damage across of a bigger range. That's why her damage is lower, because she hits more. Overall, in a lot of case scenarios, you're going to be using a lot of AoE to clear out chapters for progression and a lot of unit cases, and plus events. Most likely she will be OP for events. So overall, this tier list, there's nothing wrong with this tier list overall. This is all based on solo DPS. And you can basically scale them. Now, in case you're wondering about Litter, Litter is the strongest supporter in the game. She provides the most damage buffs in the game as a support. She will be useful during leaderboards and competitive play, and she's really good. Now, as for METa, she's probably the best defense character in the game. Now, overall, you're probably going to be using her for the hard chapters, but she's not good during progression. She's very bad in progression. But overall, in case you didn't know, all they have to do is slap in 2 new characters, and pretty much the tier list has changed from that point. Alright guys, I hope y'all enjoyed it, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace!